Welcome to Everything's Fucked podcast, where you haven't been fucked till you've heard everything's fucked. You're here with Monica.
And Asia.
And do you set New Year's resolutions?
No, I used to when I was younger, like younger self did, but
Do you feel like you were doing it because that was like a societal construct of like, it's the new
yes,
year, everybody sets a resolution?
yes. And it's just, they've always stressed me out. I always fail because I set them. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
No. I totally
if
do.
I'm just in constant working on, I'm always working on myself now, always.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel like I need to like once a year make a big goal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I'm making goals all throughout the year now.
I think it's interesting because, like, same for me. I always set a New Year's resolution, and again, same. I always like didn't follow through with it, or I'd be like, "Oh, well, next week it's just as fine," and then it's February, and now it's March, and now we're in December. So,
Yep. Exactly.
I
That's pretty much how it goes nowadays.
yeah, and I feel like when I was doing that, there was always this idea of like, oh, well, now New Year's falls on a Wednesday. Like, I'm not going to start a new thing on a Wednesday. So then I'll just start it on a Sunday. And then Sunday comes around and you just totally fucked that up. And so there's this like idea that you have to start something like at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the week or at the beginning of the month or something like that, when
Yeah.
really if you have this like desire to do whatever it is that you're setting your resolution for, you should just fucking do it now.
Yeah. You don't have to wait for that day.
Yeah. And
Do
that's
it.
where I think it's really interesting is like there's just this mindset of like it has to be at the beginning. It can't be in the middle and it can't be at the end and it can't be 2/3 of the way through. It's got to be like at the beginning of whatever it is that works in our brain.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like I'm more the type of person that I'm like a leader. So I'm out here like, every day working on self every day. So it's just like, to me, it's just a whole weird thing. I don't know. It's a weird concept to me that you would wait till the 31st and then start to change yourself and work on
Yeah.
yourself. Like, what about in November? Like when you were being a dick, you should have been
Yeah.
working on yourself then too. You
Was
know what
I
I
being a
mean?
dick? No, I'm just kidding. I probably was. No, I totally see what you're saying. And I fall into this trap all the time. So like I really love to work out. I also know that it's really good for me, but I constantly do the Sunday. I'll start again on Sunday. And people think Sunday's weird, but that's the beginning of my work week. And so
Yes.
that's, to me, Sunday is the beginning of the week, not the weekend. So my week starts on Sunday and it ends on Saturday. And
Yes.
so when I think about like getting back into a routine of working out, I'm like, well, it's Wednesday. Like I haven't worked out in the first half of the week. Like I'll just wait till Sunday. And then again, like that just keeps going.
Procrastinating it. Yeah. Putting it
Yeah.
off, putting it off, putting it off.
It's so weird.
I
Okay.
did go to the gym for a little bit. I don't
I
know if
just
it was
can't
a New
even
Year's
picture that.
resolution. Yeah, it was way back when we lived in Buena Park still. And I went to like Planet Fitness. You should have seen me walking around, like trying to figure out those machines on my own. Like walking in like each machine, I'm like reading the instructions on the side of the machine. And then
I
I'm like
won't.
looking at it and then I'm like trying to figure out how to do it on my own.
So what I do, because I just feel so self-conscious.
Me
Like
too.
I go to the gym all the time. I mean, it's been a while, but I have in the past like 7 years go to the gym all the time because we have one on campus. And there's always somebody in the gym. And of course, I work in a male-dominated like field, and so the majority of people at the gym are dudes.
Yeah.
And no one has ever been like impolite to me or said anything to me. Like most of the time, you just sort of all ignore each other.
Yeah. Pretend like you're
But
alone.
yeah, but I'll be like sometimes the only woman in there. And I'm like, I don't want to make a fucking ass out of myself. Right. And so I'll
How
be like,
embarrassing.
this machine looks interesting. And if I can't figure it out in like 15 to 30 seconds of just like looking at it while pretending to look at my phone, like I'm not doing it. And so then what I'll do is like, I'll be like, okay, what is this machine called? I'll commit it to memory. And then later that day, I'll like look up videos on how to utilize it. And I'm like, is this a quick, easy thing that I can do to not look like an ass? And if it's not, nah, I'm not even going there again. But if it is, I'll be like, okay, now I'm going to watch some videos on how to utilize it. And now the next time I get in there, if I feel like, okay, I can figure this out, like I'll do it.
I'm the
But that's
opposite.
it.
I'm in there like literally looking like a total idiot the whole time.
I can't. It ruins my whole workout because I'm like, I'm being judged. They're watching me. In reality, they're not. Nobody's paying any fucking attention to me other than what is this girl doing? Like staring at her phone while pretending to look at this machine. I probably make myself even more obvious.
Next time you go to the gym, you're gonna have a total fucking
I'm gonna be like,
panic attack
can
looking at
somebody
it.
help me? Oh my
Forget that.
God.
Forget that goal. Okay, just forget
Yeah, I
it.
know. Seriously. Actually, was just thinking while getting ready to record this episode, like, I should bring my gym bag to work on Sunday.
You were already doing it.
I was already doing it. But I probably will because, it is Saturday. So, like, the week is over and I definitely don't have time today. Um,
We had a tradition
I
when I
like,
was growing up. My mom did it. I don't know if you ever had a tradition when like the clock struck midnight, but we did. So like my mom would just gather up a bunch of pots and pans, and then we'd get like the spatulas, like metal spatulas, and you go outside, and at midnight you start clanging them together
oh my
like as
God, I would
loud as you
hate
can.
your family.
Yeah, we did it. We did it every single year, no matter where we lived. And I stopped doing the tradition, I think, when Rebecca was like 11 or 12, because the kids just didn't really like it. They didn't like to have like that kind of attention put on them. So my kids just stopped doing it. But I have family members in Alabama, Tennessee, all over. They still, all their kids go out and take our tradition to heart, and then they record it and send me all these videos. So
Oh,
normally on the
that's
first of the
fun.
year, I get all these videos of all these teenagers banging pots and pans, like,
Banging pots and pans.
Happy New Year, like out there just screaming, just banging pots and pans and shit.
Oh, that's kind of fun. We
Yeah,
never really did a tradition, and I never really did like New Year's with Ramona. It was just kind of one of those things where I'm like,
it's
I
midnight.
don't
That's
want to destroy you for the next day and make my life hell when it's not really like that exciting anyway. Cause it was just the two of us for a while. And then
yeah.
with Reed, we would go out and like, yeah, she would sometimes stay up, but she'd be like talking to her friends on the phone. And this is when she's older, right? And Reed and I'll like, we'll rotate through like whether or not we go out based on our work schedule.
And
I
what it
think,
lands on,
yeah, I think this year we got
it
invited
lands on
to
a
a
Sunday, I think,
New
this year.
Year's party. Yeah, I think I took Sunday off or at least half day off. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We never really
We don't go out
had
because
a tradition.
we're kind of weird about going out on holidays like that because of where we live. There's just too many alcoholics, people out there drinking and driving and being crazy.
Yeah.
So we don't really go out. And if we do, we get like a room next to the bar slash restaurant we're going to be eating at, and we walk there and then walk back to our hotel kind of thing. Cause
Yeah, we
we just
always
don't,
take a Lyft or public
yeah, we
transportation.
don't
We
even
don't
want to be
drive.
out there. You know what I mean? It's kind of
No.
scary out there. So we don't really go out. But when we were younger, we did, man. Me and Junior, when we were 20, 21, 22, it was like on. We had so much fun. That was the best holiday. We would
Yeah.
just go
We
out and get shit faced and
yeah.
make asses of ourselves, and normally at the end of the night arguing with each other because we're both so drunk and
Yeah.
making an ass of
That
ourselves.
actually really sounds like a lot of fun.
It's Does it sound familiar? Did you ever have those nights? I mean,
Yes, I've had
that's
those nights.
I think that this holiday in particular is the one that almost always ends that way when you're about 20 years old
People really love like a reason to drink, and I
and
think
get
New
shit
Year's is
faced.
that
Yeah.
reason. And I also think that's kind of funny when when you do start talking about resolutions because you're going to start on the first, right? But now you have a fucking hangover. Like
Hangover. Yes.
ain't nobody doing anything on the first now. Y'all sleeping in, eating some more. Maybe you're still drinking cuz you're hanging out with your friends. But not just
Yep.
that, it's like I don't know about you, but like if I drink too much, I have a hangover for like 2 days now,
Yeah. We're old fucks, man. I
you
can't
know.
manage. I cannot manage.
I had somebody
I feel dehydrated after 3 beers and they're natty lights. So it's
yeah.
sad. It's sad day over here.
We have a friend that's like she's a family friend and she's in college. And so I sent her a text last night checking in with her, like, hey, miss you. Hope you're doing well. Give me a call if you have a chance to chat. Haven't talked to you in a while. And she sends me the cutest picture of her and her roommate ice skating. And she's like, I'll call you when we get back to our dorm. And I was like, honey, it's 9:30. I'm like old as fuck now and I'm
Yeah.
on my way to bed. And she's like,
Yeah.
okay.
She's like, I'll call you when I get home at midnight. And you're like, dude,
Okay.
I'm
I'm like,
literally laying
no.
down right now.
She's so funny. I love her.
That's my
Okay.
resolution, to go to bed earlier, man. I go to bed too late.
Stop with the resolutions. Just start doing it. Start tonight.
Just go to bed earlier,
Just
man.
fucking go to bed earlier, Asia.
Yeah.
All right. 38.5% of adults set New Year's resolutions every year, which I actually thought was relatively low.
Me too.
But then if you start thinking about like, is this the world population or America? Because I wonder like if there's New Year's resolutions in all cultures.
I know that there's some stuff that you do, like, because I remember my mother-in-law, she would get green grapes and she would eat a certain number of grapes and do certain stuff like that, almost like superstitions on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
She wouldn't have looked at them like that. They were traditions that brought prosperity and stuff into her
Yeah.
house. Like she had to like have certain things in her pockets.
Yeah.
I can't remember now all of them, but like money in her pockets, like change in her pockets.
Yeah.
And then she had to
Because
have
if you
green
look at like
grapes.
New Year's, like Chinese New Year is different than like our New
Yes,
Year's. The date's different.
it's a
Yeah.
different date. Yeah. And
Okay. So I think that was like saying like, oh, it does say US adults. You fucking idiot, Monica. Can you read? Okay. This is every year. So I guess that makes sense because it's like 38.5 year after year set one, right? Okay,
yes,
so 59% of young adults 18 to 34 have New Year's resolutions. 59%, which makes it the largest demographic to set those goals, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, but also not. Because I guess
that's when you
like
do it.
that's the like prime time of being like, I'm gonna make myself better. And
Yes,
then
that's
after you're
exactly when.
34, you're like, fuck
This is it.
this.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
as good as I'm
40.
gonna get.
I'm 40 and I'm like, love it or leave it, dude.
Okay, so what do you think the top three are related to? The top three resolutions?
Gym, drinking, and
Eating better.
eating better.
Yeah, they're all health related. So 48% want to exercise more, making it the most popular New Year's resolution.
Wow.
Yeah. 23% of people who start a New Year's resolution quit the first week. So basically, we're just setting ourselves up for like immediate failure.
And then we can just punish ourselves for the next 12 months over
Yeah,
it.
and think about like, remember when I said I was going to do that and I didn't? And like,
And
I
then
feel like a big piece of shit now.
laughing at ourselves. Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
Only 36% make it past the first month.
Wow. That's a
And
low
I'm like,
number.
yeah, I just feel like the rest of them are probably dropping off, like relatively soon after that. But that's a pretty like big portion. That's almost 50% in total.
A lot.
So
That's a
yeah.
lot.
30. Oh, that's almost 60% in total are done by the first month. Okay. 9% successfully keep their New Year's resolution. 9%.
I didn't realize the statistics were going to be this funny.
Yeah. Okay. This guy, I'll post this
So
article
that's
in
like
the
what,
show
a
notes.
handful of people? Like
Yeah.
legit, a handful of people.
This article just came out last month. So it's like pretty relative. Okay.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Pretty relative? I said
Relative?
pretty relative. I meant relevant.
I didn't even catch it.
My New Year's resolution is to learn how to talk. Okay.
Just do it now, Monica.
And to stop saying okay. Where do New Year's resolutions come from? The Babylonians made the first New Year's resolutions
The
about
Babylonians.
4,000 years ago. I mean, unless you
I
believe
like
in
that word.
creationism.
Babylonians. That's fun to say.
What'd you just say?
Babylonians.
Oh, I thought you said
That's fun.
Babylonians. And I'm like, sea creatures are definitely not making New Year's resolutions.
They could be, okay? You don't
I
know.
mean, I don't know. I'm not an Abalone. They didn't do it on the 1st of January, but in mid-March, when they celebrated the spring harvest of barley, a 12-day festival called Akitu.
Ooh,
That's
that's
kind of cool.
interesting.
So, like, also just goes to show you don't have to start in January. These people are starting in freaking March.
Yeah, when the harvest happens. That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Why did we
Okay.
move it to the first? I wonder why we moved it.
I think that people like you want to have a starting point, right? And
On
I
the
think the
calendar.
beginning of something is a starting point, like
Yeah.
the beginning of the month, beginning of the week, the beginning of your life, the beginning of a new relationship and all that kind of stuff, beginning of a new job. I
Yeah.
think that gives people like this concept of newness and wiping the slate clean.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So 52.6% focus on one New Year's resolution, whereas the other 47.4% sets multiple ones.
Oh, they're gonna really fail.
They're really failing.
They're really
Yeah,
setting themselves up
for
because
failure.
the 9%.
Yeah, I kind of feel like all mine have always been. I've always done multiples.
Really?
Yeah,
Not me.
it'll always be like it's always workout or health related. And then it'll be like maybe finances. And then maybe I want to do like something that will help me be a better parent. Or maybe I want
You're like a
to
go fucking getter.
do, yeah, like read X amount in a year or
Yeah,
something
no.
like that. You know what I mean? So I've
Mine are
always
so
set
shallow.
multiples.
Mine are so shallow.
Like
And I
what?
never ever
Like I want to
succeed.
lose 10 pounds, or what do you mean by shallow?
No, I've never wanted to lose weight or gain weight. I think mine have always been like, I'm gonna be like dry the whole month of January. I'm not gonna drink the whole month, or I'm gonna take like a tolerance break from marijuana,
Oh, are
and
we
I'm
doing
not
dry
gonna.
January?
No, are
What we
we?
should. Maybe we should.
That's a challenge and a half right there. I mean, because right when you tell me I can't do it, I want to do it. I'm that person.
You're
I
like,
don't know why. Like right when you say I can't drink, I'm like, I'm thirsty. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
like I
Like
really
right,
want a beer right now at
right
11 a.m.
now.
on a
Seriously,
Saturday.
I'm not even fucking with you. I don't know. That's why I think Narcotics Anonymous meetings just don't work for me. Because when I go to them, I come home craving drugs. I left
How
not
about I
craving
just tell
anything.
you we're having wet January where you just drink multiple beers every single day?
Yeah, I'll probably not want to be a part of it. I'll be like, I'm good.
So
I
let
mean,
us know
you
if you
have
guys
to,
want to participate in wet January.
you just have to reverse psychology me all the time.
Oh my god, we could have wet January, but it could be like sex and masturbation related.
We just want to keep talking, make this whole podcast into sex. From
Everything's
now
fucked, but
on,
like really we are fucked.
we
You know
are.
what I mean? Where was I? 59% of young adults 18 to 34. Oh, I love that young is still 34. So now I'm an old adult.
Yes. Well, I'm
That's really
geriatric, bro.
rude.
I'm geriatric over here. I'm about to be 41.
Oh, I already said this one. Okay, I'm skipping it. God, let me just like make this better. Okay, people over 55 are 3.1 times less likely to have resolutions compared to younger adults.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
Yeah,
I,
the
I
older
really think
someone
the older
becomes,
you
the
get,
less likely they are to have a New Year's resolution. Probably because they're like, I don't need a fucking January 1st to have a life or
yeah.
whatever.
And by then, I think you just make like resolutions as you go. Like, I'm going to get this done in December, and then I'm going to get this done in January. I'm going to get this done in February. Like, every month as an adult, like when you get past the age of 35, is like you have things that you want to conquer that month. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're really
Yeah.
working on a weekly and a monthly basis, not an annual one.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets speedy, it gets going. You know what I mean? Where you're like,
My God, we're just going to be dropping off at 55. We're just
boosh,
like,
boosh. My grandmother's 93 years old, bro. I'm going
oh
to be
my
here for a
God.
long time.
Not
It
me.
runs
My family
it
all
runs in
dies
the
young
family.
and
Runs in the
tragic.
family. Nope, not here.
Young
We
and
are
tragic.
okay, if you look at them, we were standing in the kitchen and it's me and my Aunt Judy and my grandmother who's 93 and my mom. And we're all standing there with Liliana. And Liliana's like, they're saying how she's 19 and they cannot believe that she's 19. And she's like, yeah, my birthday's Friday, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, gosh, you look so young. And she goes, well, how old are you guys? And my Aunt Judy goes, I'm 73. Lily about fell over because my aunt looks like she's maybe 50 and she's 73. And
That's
that's the
funny.
same with my grandmother. She's 93 and she looks like she's probably maybe in her late 70s, early 80s. So we just have
Interesting.
that running in us.
We
The
just
good
have that running in
genes.
us. 54% of parents with children. I feel like if you are a parent, it's like
You
you
have
have
children.
children. I feel like that's kind of like saying 9 a.m. in the morning. Like you already said a.m., right?
I do that all the time.
Maybe they just want to exclude dog parents.
Now that's funny.
All right, back to this.
Oh my God.
54% of parents with children have New Year's resolutions, which is 1.6 times more than those who don't have children. Probably because we're like, I got to get my life together. This
Yeah.
is like I don't know, dragging me down. My finances are all fucked up now.
After Christmas, I think every parent is looking at their shit like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, how did that go down? I need to reevaluate my
My
situation
whole life.
going forward. I think as a parent, I have sat for so many hours of my life and just really regretted every move I've ever made as a parent. And just sat there and been like, yeah, I'm just full of regret. I'm going to dissociate now.
Just full of regret. All right, let's talk about the most common New Year's resolutions. We already kind of said like health related. 48% want to exercise more. Health related resolutions cover the top 3, and a Swiss study found that 70% of all resolutions relate to physical health.
Wow.
Men and women share the same top 4 most popular New Year's resolutions, according to a study under Brits. I don't know if that's a specific thing or if they're talking about the whole country of, England.
Oh, I was
Britons.
going to say Britain. The whole country of Britain. Asia over here.
I don't know what's happening. Women focus slightly more on health-related topics than men in the UK, specifically regarding losing weight, which totally makes fucking sense because I don't see like men being called out for their weight as often as women, especially when you look at like beauty standards across cultures.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
did you know?
There's no like, we're not holding them accountable for that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no standard.
So we just watched a like documentary kind of thing talking about like ADHD medication. And one of the things they were talking about, and I don't know if this is like really true, but this is what they were saying in the documentary, is the Ritalin came out of a guy who was trying to give his wife something to make her more peppy and motivated to play tennis. And her name was Marguerite, but she went by Rita. And he was hoping that it would also help with weight loss. So he called it Ritalin.
Oh my gosh.
And then turns out it helps with ADHD.
I don't like any of that.
I didn't either. Which was like,
that makes me uncomfortable.
Is this just some bullshit this guy's pulling out, like trying to like make some kind of like? I'm like, I don't know. It seems pretty legit to me.
Monica's like, Google, trying to figure it out.
Oh my god. Men focus more on pursuing their career ambitions or cutting down drinking. So career ambitions was 23%, cutting down drinking was 19% compared to women.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
They're
Although
almost always the provider, and then so they're more
yeah,
stressed out, so they're drinking too. So that makes sense to me.
yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay. COVID-19 impacted the types of resolutions for 75% of people who set
Yes.
them. After COVID, they focused more on mental health, eating
Mm-hmm.
healthier, and their finances.
Yeah, and I think mental health became a really big deal during COVID because we all realized that we were using something to make us happy, whether it be work or school or whatever. And now we had to go home and deal with our families and actually be stuck with the people we created. I just remember I enjoyed it very much, but I knew a lot of people during that time were not having a good time.
Yeah.
A lot of divorces happening and a lot of people making big moves because they just didn't realize they were that unhappy until they were forced into a situation where they couldn't leave.
That just for some reason reminded me of when Ramona was in like 5th grade or something. She was at school all day and it just felt like a really long day. And she rides the bus home and she gets home and I walk to the bus stop to pick her up. And she just looks at me and she's like, I don't know how people have full-time jobs and then have to come home to their children. I'm like,
love her.
Me either.
Yeah.
All right. So most common New Year's resolutions: exercise more, eat healthier, lose weight. And then it starts turning into save money, pursue some career ambition or change careers, spend less time on social media, take up a new hobby, cut down on drinking, remove part of the house, renovate.
Remove.
We're just taking off this whole room. Spend more time with family, do more charity work, which was very low, give up smoking, also very low, and raise money for a charity, which I'm like, I don't think that would ever even cross my mind to be a resolution.
Yeah, no, not unless I work at the nonprofit.
Right?
That'd be the only way that would work.
All right. So 9% of people successfully keep their New Year's resolutions. We already kind of went
over that.
Into
That's
that.
a funny number.
23% of people quit by the end of the first week, 64 after the first month, and 81 before the end of the second year. The end of the second. What does that even mean? Like we went 2 years?
When the next year starts.
Maybe they mean like before the end of the middle of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next year, yeah.
Most people quit on the second Friday of the month. According to Strava, which is a running and cycling tracking app, they named this day Quitter's Day.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Oh my god.
43% of people expect to give up their goals by February, which explains the relatively high quitting rate in January. Because if you're like, whatever, I'm not even going to be doing this in February, why even fucking bother at this point?
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. Okay. Why do New Year's resolutions fail? Do you know?
No.
There's so many reasons. 35 35% of people attribute losing motivation as a top reason for giving up, followed by being too busy at 19% and changing their goals and priorities at 18%. So
It
I think
doesn't
sometimes,
there's no
huh?
like too ambitious. There's no tile for that.
Oh, I'm sure that's coming up. So I think part of the thing is like you go into the new year and like all this stuff is kind of in your life right now. And let's say, you just spent a whole bunch of money on Christmas shopping, blah, blah, blah. And now you're like, wow, I really need to work on my finances. And so you go into January, like, I'm going to
Gung
work on my
ho.
finances. But then maybe you realize like that's not the actual problem. Like your
Yes.
finances maybe aren't really the problem. Maybe it's like
You're
the
spoiling
way
your
you look.
children or what
Yeah,
you're
like the way you look at like purchasing and shopping and
Yes.
consumerism in general. So it's not really your finances that are the problem. It's like your attitude and mindset around other things, right? And then that also comes to like if you set this goal for working out or exercising more, and now you're spending all this money on workout equipment and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And then that impacts your finances too. So now you're looking at this over here, and then you kind of think like, oh, well, I kind of need to switch gears now at this point. So then your New Year's resolution is lost again.
Exactly. And you're coming up with a new goal.
Yeah. The main reason why people fail is the timing of New Year's resolutions. While people want to achieve change, they have yet to be ready to fully commit. So you're kind of forced into this idea that you have to start in January, right? And maybe January is like really not a great time for you to start New Year's resolution. So for me, I always look at it, it's like the holidays are happening still. We have two birthdays in January, mine and Ramona's. And January is like we're trying to get into the new year. We're trying to get like our footing. We're kind of figuring out what we're doing. And we're coming off the holidays, lots of family time, lots of stuff going on. And it's sort of like my time to kind of start decompressing after a couple of hectic months. And so, in my opinion, I think part of the reason why I have failed is like the timing,
Yeah.
right? I'm not quite ready to start these resolutions or these
Yes.
lifestyle changes. And now I'm just doing them because I feel forced to. And then I give up. And then when I think about it again, I'm like, why bother? Because I already couldn't do it the first time.
Exactly. That makes a lot of
Um,
sense.
yeah.
I don't have a lot going on in January, but I do in February.
Yeah.
Um, it's just always hard for me to set goals and at the beginning of the year. Always. I'm better with goals right when like springtime starts. That's when I feel more in the mood to set goals and like to look at my stuff and like to check where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like when we come out of like the cold season, like out of
Hmm.
winter
Yeah. Then
time,
it's like
that's when it's better
spring
for
to
me.
me is,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
same.
cleaning the house and getting everything out and like starting anew. That all
Yeah.
happens around Easter time for
That's
me.
why
You know
spring
what I mean?
cleaning is a big thing. It's like the start of this
Yes.
new season. Yeah. The main reason why people, oh, I already said that. Successful individuals reported more stimulus, control, and willpower. So, social support and interpersonal strategies became super important after the first 6 months of pursuing the goal. So, these are the 9%ers that actually continued. And so, what
You
they
go
did is they
getters, you.
started, I know they started like implementing like social support and like maybe finding groups or a friend to buddy up with and be their like kind of like accountability partner.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And so successful individuals are likely to experience 14 slip ups during a 2 year interval if they're like committing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Indicating that resilience or the ability to bounce back from setbacks is essential for goal success, which this is actually true. I've read a couple of books that talk about like goal setting and like the idea of all or nothing. And so I think we often have this idea of like, this is my goal. This is what I'm setting out to do. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. And then we have a slip up. So I've been talking about this for a while. We're recording this episode early just because that's the way our recording schedule is right now. So I've been participating in a vegan diet for 2 weeks now, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
one day I didn't eat meat, but I was eating like cheese or something. And I could have just been like, well, why bother? After
Go
that,
all the
because
way
I've had
back.
like
Yeah.
because I've had like a slip up or whatever. But that's the thing is where I'm like, okay, well, tomorrow is a new day, or later that day is a new day. So I can continue with that because that is something that's important to me. It's a lifestyle change that I want to pursue. And I think
Yeah.
it kind of ties into this idea of like, you need to be ready to make that change, and you need to be ready to understand like what goal setting is, that it's
And
not
be
black and
realistic.
white.
You know what I
Yeah, that
mean?
it's not like a complete upward, slope.
Yes.
It's like sort of, up and down and all over the place. And you're going to have, slip ups, or you're going to quote fail sometimes, but you got to brush yourself off and keep going.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you ever tried that 75 hard, where you have to
no.
like read a certain amount a day, get outside for a certain amount, exercise for a certain amount, and like stick to a diet all for 75 days?
See, I feel like that'd be really hard because that's a lot of extremism, right? And
Yeah.
so I think when you look at things like that, people are more likely to fail
Yes.
in
And
what
then
they're
be very
doing
hard on
because
themselves and then go in
yeah,
deeper.
yeah, exactly. Because there's no leniency for a slip up. There's no, it is all or nothing mindset, right?
Yes.
And so then when you
That's what I
do
thought
stuff
when you
like
said
that,
that.
yeah, you're supposed to start over, I'm pretty sure, on stuff
Yes.
like
Day
those.
one.
So yeah, like you get to day 60 and you have a fuck up and you're like, I have the flu, you got to start
Or you
over.
have to lie to yourself, one or the other.
But people
Because
aren't
you're
good at
doing
that.
it with yourself, because
Yeah.
it's only like a self. That's why I don't understand it, because I could just tell myself I got that done. I'm that kind of person. I'm
Oh,
like, oh,
I'm not.
I
I
read
might
today.
I might pretend, but in the back of my head I would know, and I would never, like, if I completed those 75 days, I would feel like, well, I didn't really.
See, that's me. I would just pretend that I did, just to get it over with, because I feel so much pressure from whoever like nominated me or challenged me. I would just be like, yeah, I did it. Yay. You know what I mean?
No,
Because
not me.
it's too
I wouldn't be able to
challenging.
do that.
75 days is too long.
That is too long.
It's unrealistic.
Okay. How do you keep up? How many
What?
times am I going to say okay during this episode?
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like that's my way of, like, my tact of changing gears and like moving us to the next thing that I'm going to say. I got to find a new word. Every episode it'll just be something different.
It
People will be
is.
like, "What?"
We can make this into everything into a drinking game. People can just, when they listen to our episode, just
Oh my god,
take
they'd be
it
so trashed.
trashed by the end.
Alrighty then.
Pick a new word for
How to
every
keep
episode.
your New Year's resolutions. Choose relevant and timely resolutions. All right?
Yeah.
So, relevant to your life. Instead of setting a resolution to change your entire diet, start by changing what you eat for breakfast. So, start taking baby steps if you do want to have a resolution. So, instead of saying, I'm going to work out 4 days a week, and you have literally not picked up a single weight or ran a single 10th of a mile, start saying, I'm going to go outside and walk once a week. I'm
Yes.
going
Start
to,
small.
yeah, I'm going to stretch for 10 minutes once a week, and just start small. And sometimes what I have found, at least with myself, is if I set those smaller goals, the first day I'll do it and I'll be like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And then the second day I'll be like, oh, I could do 10
It
minutes
gives you the
again.
motivation to do more.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of being like, I'm going to work out 45 minutes 4 days a week. Like, that's a fucking lot.
A lot. And then
And
you're
I used to do
sore.
that, but
I
I
like to sit down on the potty without pain. I don't work out. That shit hurts.
I
Makes
know, but
everything
you're
hurt.
like, honestly,
Ugh. No
we'll
thanks.
discuss that later. I'm like,
We have to do a workout episode.
I like how you always say potty.
Oh yeah, I have a toddler. I say potty and panties still. I'm still in that stage. We went
Do you
right
come
back.
out of that stage?
I don't know. I hope I do. I hope I do, because my
I hope you
husband
do
hates
too, because it's a little unnerving for me to
it.
hear a 40-year-old woman say potty and panties.
My husband, I'll be like, he says, give me my underwear. I'm like, here's your panties. He's like, babe, they're underwear.
I think I always said, do you need to go to the bathroom with Ramona? I don't
Nope.
think I ever said potty with her.
I say all the baby words.
No, I never did that. I always talked to her like she was an adult person.
That shows. That definitely checks.
I'm like, I'm not dumbing down my talk for you. Just saying.
That checks. On brand, very on brand.
Okay.
Me, I'm talking like mushy mushy moo. I'm like the baby talk to them. You're
No,
like, no.
not doing that. Back to what we're talking about. Okay.
I love these morning
my
episodes.
words. Deeply understand why you want to change. What's your big motivation? Why is it now necessary to change? is this something that you're really like actually have a desire to do, or are you doing it because of social constructs and societal standards?
Yes. Very
Set
important.
specific and challenging long-term goals if you feel ready to do that. So one of the things that we see with New Year's resolutions is they're like really ambiguous and broad. Like saying, even just going back to like working out or finances, saying I'm going to work out 4 days a week is not very specific, right? You're
Yeah.
not deciding how long you're going to work out, what kind of workout you're going to do, where you're going to start. Are you going to use, this style of workout or that style of workout? Same with
Yeah.
finances. Like saying I want to save more money this year. How are you going to save more money? Where are you going to save more money? Are you tracking where you're saving money? That kind of stuff. And so being very specific and saying like, I'm going to work out 4 days a week. I'm going to do it for 10 minutes a day. And I'm going to do like these types of exercises. And now you have a very specific goal. And same with money and like finances. Like I'm going to save more money this year. And by doing that, I'm going to cut out this thing or that thing, or I'm going to be more intentional with my grocery shopping, and
Yeah.
I'm
Use
going to save
coupons.
$100 a month, for this year, right? So starting small, having a very specific idea of what you're doing is really important. Consistently set small and realistic short-term goals to go along with your long-term goals. And that's where we're talking about, I want to get up to working out 4 days a week. So I'm going to start with 1 day a week. I'm going to start with 10 minutes during that day, and I'm going to do this specific exercise. And then after I've gotten into the habit of doing that 1 day a week, maybe you increase it to 2 days a week after a month. And then you
Yes.
increase it to 3 days a week after 2 months or 3 months or whatever. And you kind of go on that until you get up to that 4 days a week. And maybe each time you increase it like by 5 minutes or by 10 minutes or whatever. And so now you have like very specific small steps to get to the big thing that you're eventually trying to get to.
Yeah.
That goes with saving money too and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Consider an accountability partner as a family member or friend pursuing similar goals who wants to join you. Find like-minded people online with the same goals. Like if we even don't have people in our lives that are doing something, you're going to find somebody somewhere on the internet, through like Reddit, through Instagram, whatever. You'll find like-minded people or following like-minded people who make you feel motivated. Listening to podcasts that make you feel motivated, things like that are super helpful. Or journaling them or writing them down and just like
Yes.
reminding yourself of what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's helpful. And this one makes me kind of laugh because you just said it earlier. Improving your sleep schedule. That includes consistent waking and bedtimes and getting plenty of quality sleep every night. It may surprise you just how much good sleep impacts goal success. So this is really true. I think we only have so many hours a day, and if we are feeling tired and shitty, we're not going to be very productive. If
Yeah.
we're staying up, like you're staying up late at night, what time do you normally go to bed?
Midnight.
Okay. So when do you stop being productive in the day?
I'm never not productive. If I'm up till midnight, I'm farming content or I'm working on something or I'm doing something for my page. I
Okay.
honestly don't really have much downtime. I have to force myself to do downtime.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm
So
always
most
cleaning my
people,
house or I'm
then
doing something.
I guess you would be like an anomaly there. Most
Yeah.
people would probably, I would say like maybe 9 o'clock, stop being pretty productive. Like you're not going to be doing that much more after 9 and before midnight when you go to sleep.
I'm not productive in the morning. That's when I'm not productive.
See,
I'm
okay. So like when do you start being productive in the morning?
probably
Like
around
what
10
time do you wake
a.m.
up?
10 or I wake up around 9:30 to 10 o'clock every morning.
Yeah. And so like your schedule is
My
a little bit
schedule's
shifted,
different. It's
but
off. It's off because it's just it's accommodating what I do now, right
yeah.
now. I'm better at night with content creating. I have better when no one's around and my kids are sleeping and my husband's playing a stupid video game. I am that in that moment then I'm able to think of episode ideas. I'm able to actually like sit down and look at my phone and do the things I want to do. But all day I'm, snack bitch, taxi whore. Like I'm like all the things. Okay. And I don't get that like quality time to get my stuff done. So that's at nighttime for me, like from 9:30 to probably like 11:30, and then I wash my face, whatever, get ready for bed. I go to sleep. I just don't sleep well, and then I wake
Yeah.
up when my husband goes to work at 6 a.m. But then I sleep good from when he leaves. I sleep good till like 10. So from
Oh,
6 a.m. to
interesting.
10 is when I really get my good sleep in, and then I wake up and I'm not productive till like 11 maybe.
Damn. I
Yeah,
can't do I
that's
wouldn't
my
be able to do
schedule.
that. My
And
schedule is like way different.
that's been my schedule since I had Scarlett too. And she's 4. So she's on the same schedule as me. And Junior, sometimes he gets very frustrated because he's like, she needs to go to bed. And it's like, no, we don't have to be up in the morning. Everybody else in
Yeah.
the house has to be up tomorrow, but me and Scarlett. So we stay up. She plays her LOLs. She does her own thing. I do my own thing, and everyone else is sleeping. You know what I mean? It's fine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if I had that schedule, I would never get anything done. I'd be so completely like unproductive. I can't even sleep past 8 anymore, and that is super
On
rare.
like
Like,
even on your days off and stuff.
yeah, today I didn't set an alarm and I still woke up at 8. But
Oh, I would never.
I go to bed at like I think we went to bed at 10:30 last night, and that was like us staying up late. Like we go to bed on a sometimes we'll stay up till 11. We go to bed on a pretty like even schedule. Like we go to bed
Yeah.
at 10 o'clock. TV is off. We are in bed at 10 o'clock on a work day because Reed gets up at 5:50 and I get up at 6:20. And so, and then we worked 12, 13
That's another
hours.
reason. You guys are,
And then,
and
yeah, by the
your
time,
work is
and so
really challenging too. It's not
our
like you,
whole schedule, yeah, is like it just fits in for the rest of the weekend. And then
yeah.
I'm getting up with Ramona on our days off to make sure she's getting to
Oh,
school.
everything's going to change soon though. Oh man.
Well, you think Reed's going to get up in the morning and make sure Ramona gets to school?
No, I think when he
No.
retires, your guys is like everything's going to change schedule
No.
wise. You don't think so?
He's been on this schedule for
He's
like
programmed.
decades. Yeah. He's programmed. He's programmed. All right. The secret to becoming part of the 9% that exceed: only set New Year's resolutions that are highly relevant, timely, and specific to you. Make sure that you're choosing ones that mean something to you, that you understand why you're doing them, and then set small, actionable items to reach the bigger goal at the end. Um,
Yes.
I really hope if you do set a New Year's resolution that you are thinking about like that, but don't set New Year's resolutions because most people, they set up to fail, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
and
would
then you
say
just feel
small
shitty about
goals.
yourself.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what the poll results. Like when I did the poll on my page, it didn't really get very much traction because everyone said the same thing. Like it puts too much pressure on you. I have enough fucking pressure in life. I don't need to add more pressure to myself, like, and to give myself even more shit to worry about. And like every time I try to do a resolution, it just puts extra pressure and stress on me. They're stupid. That's
Yeah,
all. That's
they're
basic. They're
stupid.
stupid. That's basically all my peeps said. So
Yeah. So I did a poll. I know you did one too. I just did like a quick, do you set New Year's resolutions? Yes, no, sometimes never. So I got 0% for yes,
wow,
52% for no, 33% for sometimes, and 14% said never.
wow.
And I
My
said,
numbers were so different. That's crazy.
why did you answer this way? Too much pressure on one day of the year
Hmm.
because I'm bad at them. I never set them because they're mostly unrealistic and a way to berate ourselves when we fail.
Yes, I
Every
like
day
that.
is unique. If you want to change something, today is as good as any day.
Yep. Amen,
Somebody
sister.
said, LOL. Come on, T, you couldn't have come up with something better for that answer? Resolutions are stupid, unrealistic ways to set yourself up for failure. If I wake up every day, I consider that an achievement. I would agree. Thank you.
Hmm.
I think it's needless pressure. If you want to change something or work towards something, start today. If I can't talk myself into something any other time of the year, a new calendar year ain't helping anything.
No,
Truth.
so true. That's
Yeah.
not doing it for me. I mean, I like to go shopping for calendars, but
I I have a planner from last year.
yeah,
Let me find it right now. Yeah. Um,
I
let's
have one
see.
on the wall.
Do you see it?
Oh, it's empty.
It's absolutely. I
You got really
lied.
into it. You got really into it in January,
No. Mm-mm.
February.
It was September 2022 because it was a September to September calendar. Um, oh
Oh
no, it
my
was
god.
part of September and then all of 2023. So I guess I could still utilize it. It goes through July of 2023.
Well,
So,
then I guess you have to start.
and do I though?
Do you?
I haven't used it since I bought it in September.
There you go.
Yeah. Did you have any additional input on this?
No, I think that we pretty much covered it. I just feel like if there's stuff that you want to do, sit down and write it out. Like I'm huge into journaling and writing all of my goals. I do lots of, to-do lists and stuff like that. Like every time we talk, I write stuff down just so I can make sure I get it done later. And
Yeah.
I do it in like a daily, weekly, monthly fashion rather than an annual one. And I
Yeah.
think that I'm more successful with that.
Yeah, I don't have any like resolutions that I'm starting in January. I think I have things that I've already started doing. So my vegan diet is one of them. Drinking less is one. I have already started drinking less. And then also my financials. I feel like I have really good 3, 5, 10, 15-year goals right now for
Hmm.
my finances. Excuse me. And I have like already started doing that and like figuring out what I'm doing with it. And so it's just sort of keep it going one day at a time sort of situation.
Yeah, me, I'm just starting the journal stuff with like the goals and all of that. And I think that that's going to help me. But I don't have any resolutions. Like, I don't have anything like specific that I'm working on next year other than just trying to survive parenthood at this point. Like, being a
Right.
mom is kicking my fucking ass because I mean, I have a kid in each stage of life. And so for me, I think that's all I'm doing. My goal is to be as successful as I can this next year and make sure my kids are successful because
Yeah.
they're doing a lot of things and I'm in my hat is, my hands are in so many different cookie jars right now.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that is like a goal for me really started in October with the podcast fiscal year because we kind of
Yeah.
went over that, like what our
Yeah.
goals are for this next year. And that's most of the majority of 2023. And
Yeah.
so we've already talked about that. You can
We've
go
already
back
starting to
yeah, a
do it
couple
too.
months and find those episodes. And we are, but there's so many things for the podcast where I'm like, oh, if we do this or do that or change this or change that, and then kind of like set those little goals throughout the
Yes.
year. So I think
Yeah.
that's for me, I would say the podcast is probably the biggest one. Podcast
Yeah.
and my finances are the biggest one,
Yeah. Mine would be the podcast for sure.
which
Because I,
finances might follow.
yeah.
That's a
But,
joke.
that was a good one,
I
Monica.
was I was laughing because remember we were talking about like quote how much we get paid per hour.
Yeah. I always
And I
joke
was
about
th-
it.
I know, and then I started thinking about it and I was like, honestly, we can't even say that because
No,
the
because it's going
podcast
to do,
is
it's
still in
going,
debt and is still
yeah.
negative.
Not cutting checks. So
So we're actually making like negative dollars per
yeah,
hour.
exactly. So
So
funny.
anyway, that was pretty funny. If you want to support the podcast, please sign up for the Patreon.
Yeah, those bonus episodes, I think they're honestly some of our best work. So
Yeah,
I hope
same.
people sign up.
Same. All right, cool. Good luck with your New Year's
Yeah,
resolutions.
have a good new year, everybody. We hope that this next year is the most prosperous and all your wildest dreams come true.
And
But remember,
healthy.
yeah, you got to make that happen. You can't just sit back and wait for it to happen. You got to get out there and do the legwork. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
yep.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one.